Welcome into the Michigan Football Report. I am James Yoder, joined today by Brent Corobotiuc, Head of Risk Management for BetDSI, our online sportsbook partner, here to break down Michigan hosting Indiana in the final home game of the 2018 Michigan football season. Brent, thanks for joining us. Let's jump right into this game. Michigan is more than a 4-score favorite, 28.5 points as we're recording this. With the way Indiana's played Michigan, which has been very close, especially under Jim Harbaugh the last 3 years, why are they such a big favorite in this one over the Hoosiers?
Well, I think it's kind of a reflection. I mean, you don't really, you always think that teams are going to give their best effort, all the way through. And game, they need to win every game. Sure, you kind of assume that. But I think you're at a stage now with the rankings and, where Michigan is in that whole position with the, it's really key, I think, for them to look good when they win as well. That loss to Notre Dame is really, is kind of just hovering over them, and they just can't afford to have any missteps. I think the kind of, the line being as high as it is reflects, of course, their home field, and obviously they just look so good on both sides of the ball lately. So it's a reflection more so of they really need to win and win big, I think. They came off they dominated Rutgers last week. And Indiana, they did win last week. I think they beat Maryland. They just kind of squeaked by Maryland, but they had lost 4 games before then. So it is also a reflection of, the big gap, you want to say, between these two teams. So, right now, based on my wager count, actually, again, the function of the line here, what we're trying to do is balance action on both teams. So, the reason it is less an indication of, who's going to win by how much, as the function of the line there, the idea at least, is to balance action. So far, I've almost got equal bets on both sides of this game. So the line did tick up. I think it opened, the lowest number it opened was 27.5, but most of us opened up at 28, and we're up to 28.5. Just a little bit more money on Michigan, not a wager count favoring them. So seems like we got it right so far in terms of the number opening. Like I said, we opened 28. We're at 28.5. And again, it's just an indication of there really is that big of a gap between these two teams. Yes, in Indiana, they could step it up against Michigan. They've played them tough. But It's such a big, important game for Michigan, and it's important for them to win big, I think.
Yeah, this game has gone to overtime 2 of the last 3 years. Michigan, though, is on a 22-game winning streak versus the Hoosiers. And frankly, the last time Indiana won at Michigan Stadium, where this game's taking place at, 1967. So you mentioned where the money's coming in. 4 touchdown spread, over under a 53.5 right now. Where are you seeing the public, and maybe where have any of the sharps, the pro bettors, come in on this game? Michigan favored by 28.5 versus Indiana on Saturday.
Yeah, so far the number's been pretty good. I mean, like I said, we opened at 28, we bumped it up to 28.5, and that's just slightly more money on Michigan at this point in time, not any more bets. Again, when I talk about wager count, it's that the actual individual number of bets we've taken on each team. So it's pretty much even. And, you look at what Michigan's done the last couple of weeks as well. I mean, they beat Rutgers by 35. And it's only Rutgers, but they beat up on Penn State at home by that same 35 points. Now, obviously, going on the road and beating Michigan State by 14 was a big win. So, they've been beating teams and beating them pretty big. So I don't have sharp money involved in this one yet. I mean, if sharp money did come involved, you would have seen some more dramatic line movement. And I think the fact that we opened at 28 and are only sitting at 28.5 reflects that. The total, pretty much the same thing. I mean, you have to, give us credit. Every now and then we get it right. In this total, we open at 53.5. I'm still at 53.5. I've got slightly more bets towards the under. I think that's probably just, people maybe getting the indication that, Michigan could just shut down Indiana completely. So no sharp action on either side or the total. And my count really are quite even. And the line, or lack of line movement, I was going to say, really reflects that.
We are talking with Brent Corobotiuc from BetDSI. He is the head of risk management. We have partnered with BetDSI all year long to bring you the best sign-up bonus of all time for sports betting. Go get set up with BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet. Use the Michigan football promo code GOBLUE, no spaces, GOBLUE. You'll get 120% sign-up bonus when you get started with BetDSI. We recommend you do so today. Put some money on this Michigan-Indiana matchup Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Let's take it over to college football playoff odds, Brent. Michigan is now listed on BetDSI as the 3rd most likely team, at least as far as the odds are concerned, to win the college football playoff. You've got Alabama, almost 3 times as likely to win the national title as not. Clemson coming in at 4-1 odds. Then Michigan there has improved their odds, really 9-1 odds. The last time we looked at this a couple weeks back, Michigan and Notre Dame were tied at 3rd place. So why is Michigan's odds improved a little bit, and where do you see money coming in as far as the CFP, as far as BetDSI is concerned?
Yeah, since the CFP rankings came out, you do kind of adjust your lines a little bit and see where the positioning is. Obviously, the whole Michigan Notre Dame thing is a bit of a sore spot, I guess, for these teams. I mean, you look at Notre Dame, and if they were to lose a game, where do you rank them versus Michigan? Now, I mean, it's a real. You could really debate till you're blue in the face, I think, in terms of what would happen in that scenario. Michigan did, of course, lose at Notre Dame opening week, and that kind of looms over them. And looking at Notre Dame, I mean, really, their game this week is really kind of like the toughest test I think they have on the board. They do go to USC, but I mean, USC has been a major disappointment this week. So the big game I think for Notre Dame is that Syracuse game. They're just ahead of Michigan obviously in the rankings right now. So it's really kind of a tight spot. I think you're looking at both these teams, and Notre Dame, they really got that one tough test, I think, which is this weekend. And you've got kind of the flip side of that is Michigan has to go on the road to play Ohio State, and Ohio State would love to be a spoiler there too. So yeah, we do have Michigan and Notre Dame kind of reflective in basically on betting action. I mean, they're pretty much on an even keel, and we've just taken in recent weeks, we've taken a little bit more action on Michigan, so we've moved their line down and trying to attract a little bit more action on Notre Dame. Clemson, of course, is the second choice, and again, we talked about before, I really, Clemson, it's just, I wish we could figure out how good a team they really are, because their schedule has been, I would say, quite favorable for them. Their next couple of games are against Duke and South Carolina at home. So really, we're not going to get to see a real test for Clemson. So they're kind of based on what they've done so far this season. That's why they're sitting where they are at the second choice. And Bama, I mean, really, I don't really need to go into detail about Alabama and how strong they've been. Their current odds reflect basically a 73% chance of them winning the title, which is, they seem like just men versus boys a lot of time out there. Yeah, it's a monster price, but really, it's the right price, I think. I mean, these teams, Alabama's, almost a professional team out there, it seems at times. Now, there was a lot of debate. I think someone put up an imaginary line, like if Alabama played the Buffalo Bills, what the line would be and who would be favored. Obviously, sure. I mean, that's truly men versus boys. I mean, Buffalo, you think would roll all over them, but that's just kind of a reflection of how good Alabama seems to be. And like I said, at 73% chance of them winning the whole thing, I mean, you figure they're going to be in the final, and they're going to be a favorite in the final. So I think that the line really is an accurate reflection of that.
You heard it here first, folks. Michigan getting a lot of money for the national title at BetDSI. You can thank the Michigan Football Report and Chat Sports for that, I'm sure. Let's talk about the Heisman. You guys have 5 players, Brent, listed for the Heisman Trophy. Tua Tagovailoa, clearly the absurdly, large favorite, minus 975. Kyler Murray, Will Grier. Then you've got Michigan quarterback Shea Patterson and Washington State quarterback Gardner Minshew there, tied for 4th at plus 2,000. Talk about Tua, how just a massive a favorite he is, and do these other 4 guys have any chance to win the Heisman, and maybe where the money's coming at on them?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even at this point, you kind of wonder, like you did see with Tua, you saw, the injury kind of, threat, I guess, loom the last couple of weeks. But really, I mean, other than that, and even with that, can you really not give him the award? I mean, he just seems to do everything so well. And I mean, with his feet, with his arm, he's just such a good quarterback out there, and really, it's not really, a slight at any of the other guys out in this competition. Murray definitely has had a good year, and Patterson, his price has kind of ticked up. He's even in a better spot right now. But again, it's almost like the knock against him, and it's not against him, is that his team is so well balanced. He doesn't have to be spectacular, for the team to win. And Tua makes those highlight reel plays, which kind of Patterson, I guess, goes against Patterson. I mean, Patterson just doesn't have to light it up all the time, and they've got such a good offensive line. They run the ball so well. He doesn't have to do a whole lot of that. He gets great protection and such. So, I think the lines really are a reflection of how good Tua is, just being head and shoulders of everyone else on the field. And again, we're almost positioning this number as a price so high where we're almost forcing people not to bet Tua because we got that feeling that he's going to win it too. Now, obviously, it comes down to voters and stuff like that. We don't know who's actually going to win it, but that's what we do with our numbers. We kind of have to adjust prices and make them even more and more attractive to get some action on the other guys to offset the early action we took on Tua. And I mean, he really warrants this price based on his on-field performance so far.
Yeah, Tua seemingly an unbelievable favorite for the Heisman. I had a conversation yesterday. If he never played again this season, would he still win the Heisman? I think he actually would. But Michigan fans can get 20-1 odds. Put $10 down, you win 200. Put 100 down, maybe you win a little more than that, 2,000 on Shea Patterson. Still has a chance to win the Heisman. No Karan Higdon on that list, although some Michigan fans think he is their MVP. Brent, one last question as it relates to Michigan football. Looking ahead a week from now, Michigan traveling south to Ohio State in a matchup of two teams that will likely be playing for a potential spot to be in the college football playoff, depending on what Ohio State does in their game prior to that. So, where is that line probably going to end up? Could Michigan be a favorite traveling to Columbus, which I think has been since 2004? They've been a favorite in that game on the road.
Yeah, I mean that's a that's a curveball you're throwing at me for sure. If you look at the power ratings and stuff like that, these teams really are close in terms of power rankings and stuff like that. So I think you probably will see Michigan as a slight favorite, even though they'll be on the road at Ohio State. Different power ratings have different numbers, and we got to look at all that kind of stuff in terms of coming up with the right number. Again, too, you're looking at a couple of different things when you put out these power ratings. You're thinking one thing in terms of what's going to be the right number to balance action. That's kind of what we're starting with. And then a lot of people, what they do, obviously, they go into their own thing in terms of looking at, hey, with these teams, what's actually going to happen on the field. So it's quite a bit of an art and a science here, and everyone's got different ratings. I use about 3 different sites for those ratings, and I know one of them right now has Michigan roughly about 6. Again, it's assuming they played on a neutral field. That Michigan's about 6 points better than Ohio State. So if they're on the road at Ohio State, that comes down to 3. So we'll have to wait and see what happens this week. But I think 3 is kind of a good starting number.
Yeah, that's what I've seen some people predict it's going to be, some of the futures out there, predictions. So Michigan hosting Indiana this week, at Ohio State in the regular season finale next week. Brent Corobotiuc has joined us from BetDSI. Brent, you guys better get ready. I think a lot of Michigan fans are going to come in heavy on the Wolverines to cover any spread you put out there, traveling down to Columbus a week from Saturday. You can get started with BetDSI today. Use our special Michigan football promo code, chatsports.com/bet, promo code GOBLUE, 120% deposit bonus. Get started with them today. Brent, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, James.